Football Frenzy. I'm Drew Grokey, and this is Devin Murphy, and some of the notable stats for the 2023-2024 season are: the first topic of conversation is the playoff spread. The Detroit Lions are favored to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Lions are 6-point favorites to win the game, and some of the stats for the notable players are: Chris Godwin with 83 receptions, 19th in the NFL, 1,024 yards, tied 23rd, and 2 touchdowns, tied 113th. Mike Evans has 79 receptions tied 24th, 1,255 yards, tied 9th, and 13 touchdowns, tied 1st. The Bucs like to pass way more than they like to run. Baker Mayfield has 4,044 yards, which is 9th in the NFL, 28 touchdowns, which is 7th, and 10 interceptions, tied 101st. Shaquille Barrett has 3 forced fumbles, tied 11th, 1 interception, tied 104th. Antonio Winfield Jr. has 6 forced fumbles, tied 1st, 3 interceptions, tied 25th, and 12 plays defended, tied 23rd.
Now the Lions. Jared Goff has 4,500 throwing yards, 2nd in the NFL, 30 touchdown passes, 4th in the NFL, but 10 interceptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown has 119 receptions, tied 2nd, and 1,500 receiving yards, 3rd in the NFL. 10 touchdowns, tied 4th. The Lions like to use everyone to power forward. David Montgomery, one of their running backs, has 219 carries, tied to 15th in the NFL. Just over 1,000 rushing yards, 9th in the NFL, and 13 touchdowns, tied 5th. Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie, has 182 carries, 28th in the NFL, and just under 1,000 rushing yards, 17th in the NFL. Also, he has 10 rushing touchdowns, 10th in the NFL.
Jahmyr Gibbs has been incredibly good all year, and he should be able to get outside of the Buccaneers' bad to the side run defense.
Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end, has 86 receptions, which is the most rookie receptions for a tight end. He has just under 900. His average is 10 yards a catch. And Aiden Hutchinson has 11.5 sacks, tied 12th. 3 forced fumbles, tied 11th. Brian Branch, the rookie strong safety, has 50 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 3 interceptions with 13 passes defended. Alexander Loney has 85 solo tackles, tied 12th, 3 sacks, 0 forced fumbles or interceptions.
The Bills are favored to beat the Kansas City Chiefs by 2.5 points. The Bills, Josh Allen has 4,306 yards, 4th in the NFL, 29 touchdowns, tied 5th in the NFL, and 18 interceptions, 114th. Stephon Diggs has 1,000 receptions, which is 7th in the NFL, 1,200 yards, 13th in the NFL, and 8 touchdowns, tied 8th. James Cook has 237 carries, 1,123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One thing ahead of the game to look out for is the Bills' defense. Most people have the Bills' defense has the Bills as an only offense team, but their defense has been playing incredibly well, even though there are no super high quality players.
Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs has just over 4,000 throwing yards, 6th in the NFL, 27 touchdown passes, and 14 interceptions. Travis Kelce has 93 receptions, 16th in the NFL, and just under 1,000 yards, 19th in the NFL. The Chiefs might have an issue with the good defense that the Bills have. Also, their defense has not been all sunshine and roses. Their receiving core has been struggling all year with the slight exception of Travis Kelce.
In the game, Isaiah Pacheco has been a great running back. The 49ers are favored to beat the Packers by 10 points. Brock Purdy has 4,280 yards, 5th in the NFL, 31 touchdowns, which is 3rd in the NFL, and 11 interceptions, tied 104th. Christian McCaffrey, CMC, has 272 carries, 2nd in the NFL, 1,459 yards, 14th in the NFL, and Brandon Ayuk has 75 receptions, tied 31st. 1,342 yards, tied just 7th. 7 touchdowns, tied 18th. Nick Bosa has 10.5 sacks and is tied for 17th, and 2 forced fumbles, which is tied 31st. Fred Warner has 4 forced fumbles, tied 5th, and 4 interceptions, tied 7th. Travarius Ward has 1 forced fumble, tied 92nd, and 5 interceptions, tied 4th, and 23 plays defended, which is 1st in the NFL. The 49ers have an amazing offense and have an amazing defense, which you'll look to see more of that.
Jordan Love has thrown for just over 4,000 yards, 7th in the NFL, with 32 touchdown passes, 2nd, but 11 interceptions.
Jordan Love has been playing incredibly well throwing the football and has a few rushing yards as well. Look to see more of that in the game and against the 49ers.
Kenny Clark has 7.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, tied 31st. Aaron Jones has been struggling a lot lately as the running back, but the Packers defense has been playing decent, and I don't think it's going to hold up against the 49ers, which are a well-rounded team. The Ravens are favored to beat the Texans by 9 points. Lamar Jackson rushed for 821 yards and passed for 3,600. Rookie Zay Flowers is filling the role of Mark Andrews in receptions because he was injured. Geno Stone has 7 interceptions, 2nd in the NFL, and 9 passes defended, filling the role of injured Marcus Williams.
Zay Flowers also had 858 yards, 39th in the NFL, 5 touchdowns, tied 35th. The Ravens have dominated this season with the best offense and one of the best defenses in the NFL. Rookie C.J. Stroud has 4,108 passing yards, 8th in the NFL, 23 touchdowns, tied 13th. Devin Singletary has 216 carries, 898 rushing yards, 21st in the NFL, and 4 touchdowns, tied 35th. Nico Collins has 80 receptions with 1,300 yards, 8th in the NFL, and 8 touchdowns, tied 8th. Derek Stingley Jr. has 5 interceptions, tied 4th.
However, it might be tough for the Texans to handle the cold in Maryland. C.J. Stroud, the rookie, might have a hard time with the experienced Ravens defense.
Our playoff predictions are the Ravens versus the Texans. We have, for what's left in the NFL playoffs, I have the Baltimore Ravens beating the Houston Texans. I believe that Lamar Jackson and his offense will be able to pummel the Texans' defense, and the Ravens' defense will be able to hold up against the Texans' offense.
I believe the Baltimore Ravens will win and destroy the Houston Texans. Even though Lamar Jackson struggles in the playoffs, he still has lots of targets, especially because Mark Andrews should be returning, playing this weekend after him being at practice somewhat. Plus, I think everyone is surprised from the Texans even making it this far.
The Lions versus Bucs game. I think the Lions will barely be able to pull out a victory against the Tampa Bay Bucs. I think the Bucs defense will hold the Lions into a bad game, but I don't think the Bucs will be able to pull it out afterward.
I think the Lions will beat the Bucs not only because I live in Michigan, but because the Bucs defense is injured. Well, a lot of the Bucs defense is injured, not to mention. Also, the Detroit Lions have an okay offense and defense.
Next, in the Bills versus Chiefs game, in the AFC, I have the Bills beating the Chiefs. I think the Bills' defense will be able to step up and pressure Patrick Mahomes and stop their receivers. The Bills' offense should have an amazing day against the Chiefs' defense and not be able to get stopped.
I think the Buffalo Bills are probably going to edge out the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this because Travis Kelce is the only person who confidently catches the ball. However, the Bills can just put a linebacker and a cornerback on him and they are set.
Next, in the 49ers versus Packers game, I have the 49ers destroying the Green Bay Packers. I do think the Packers will put up an amazing fight, but the amazing 49ers defense and the well-rounded 49ers offense will be able to step up and win.
I believe that the 49ers will also win. I have said I know Drew just said it, but they have a well-rounded team and number one in the NFC. Also, the Packers don't have Aaron Rodgers, and we're the last spot in the wild card rankings. Sorry.
Okay, next, in the 49ers versus Lions game, I think the 49ers will end the Lions' Cinderella run. I think they will move on to play in the Super Bowl. The 49ers defense is incredibly good and will stop the only thing the Lions have going, which didn't really work as well as they hoped, but they still ended up coming out with the win. The 49ers offense will not be as good with the injury of Deebo Samuel, but still should be able to outplay the Lions' below average defense.
I think the Lions will win a very close game, mostly because the 49ers almost lost to the Packers. Also, how did the Lions make it this far?
Next, in the Ravens versus Chiefs game, I think the Ravens should be able to outplay the Chiefs. The Ravens have the second best defense in the league and the best rushing offense, compared to the Chiefs' ninth-ranked offense and fifth best defense at some point. Right now, they're currently down to the 11th best defense. This leads me to having the Ravens beating the Chiefs.
I also think the Ravens will win. However, it might be a closer game if the Chiefs can keep Lamar Jackson inside the pocket and not scrambling. Then it will be a lot closer.
Which the Ravens did end up keeping the Chiefs the Chiefs did end up keeping Lamar Jackson inside the pocket, which did end up slowing them down. For our Super Bowl predictions, because as we know, the 49ers just beat the Lions and the Chiefs just beat the Ravens, I think that the 49ers should be able to out-edge the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' defense will have a little bit of a hard time stopping Christian McCaffrey, which he should just keep going and making it so the Chiefs cannot do much, with Brock Purdy also getting rid of the Chiefs' passing secondary. And also the 49ers defense should be able to step up and pressure Patrick Mahomes and stop the passing game.
In the Lions game, we saw that they like to run it with Christian McCaffrey no matter what, even if it wasn't going so well. Also, the defense doesn't blitz that often, but when they do, they are effective.
For the Pro Bowl the week before, I think it will be a very fun game to watch, the fun activities to watch, and I highly recommend watching it. Okay, next topic is the coach signings. Devin, how do you feel about the Chargers signing the Michigan Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh, who just won the national championship?
I think it's a good move for the Chargers because they made the playoffs last year, but not this year. So I think it will really help the team with a pretty good QB and a couple targets on a couple good players on defense and a wide receiver in Mike
Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams. Forgot his name. Austin Eckler isn't that good of a running back, so they might need a new one because we know that he likes to run the ball from his days at Michigan.
I do know Austin Eckler, though, is getting old, so that might be one of their first draft picks in the draft. I also think that Jim Harbaugh was a good signing for the Chargers, not only because I do not like the Chiefs very much, which I think that will help them be able to dethrone the Chiefs, but also just because he has a ton of coaching experience. One of the things that Jim Harbaugh could do is he could sign Blake Corum. He could draft Blake Corum, I should say, in replace of Austin Eckler and try to trade Austin Eckler away for some draft picks or something like that. Thank you for listening to Football Frenzy, the podcast about football.